Hey guys, Kevin the Toy Smuggler here, and my special guest today is Robbie Brown. Man, we've been knowing each other now for about 15 years. This is a very impromptu little get together, but I tell you what, like I was telling him earlier, man, any chance I can get to sit down with this guy, hang out with him, look over his shoulder and watch him work, I'd never pass it up. Rob, I just want to thank you for all the years of your friendship and just all the crazy amount of knowledge that you have dumped on me when you didn't really have to. And I'm just telling you, it means so much to me, and it's really changed my artist career in my life from now on.
That's cool, man. That's cool. You got the talent, so it's good to talk to somebody that just doesn't go in 1 year and out the other.
Well, I mean that right there. I mean a lot of people don't understand it is you can really invest a lot of time with people, and then you don't get much back out of them and stuff.
Yeah, some people waste your time.
Yeah, a lot of people waste your time, and that's one thing that when we first met, one thing I loved about what Rob did to me, he was, bam, really hard with me right off the bat. I guess he want to see, is this guy going to stay or I'm going to run him off? And we did the same thing in pro wrestling too. When you had the tryout days, you want to put it on them a little bit of extra to see are they going to hang with it or are they just
see what they're made of.
Yeah, see if they're going to whimper off. And one of the greatest things this guy did to me, see, when I first got into wanting to do comic books and stuff, I wasn't into computers, which Rob was really into them. And first thing he said, Kevin, you got a great idea here, but you really need to go back to the drawing board, put everything back through the computer, and polish this stuff up. And at the moment, I was like, oh man, I didn't want to have to redo everything. But I'll tell you what, when I went back and redone everything, boom, it introduced me on, dang, I got to put my art through computers.
Yeah.
The times were changing.
It's just another tool, Photoshop don't turn people into artists.
Yeah.
Artists use Photoshop.
Exactly.
It's just that simple. You gotta, knowing the tools in those programs is the secret. Knowing what they do is the secret to the program itself.
Exactly.
So you gotta experiment. You gotta work with it. You gotta.
Well, any kind of art like we do, we put a lot of logos and stuff on it, and there's just no better way. I mean, because on my first book that I showed Rob, I used the true cut and paste. I mean, and it's so much easier and better. And it's a tool.
Right. Yeah. Well, the cut and paste was used for many years,
Right.
But you got to have a real steady hand to draw those logos.
Oh yeah.
In fact, I remember when I first worked at Marvel, I got all my artwork back, and it was just cut and paste words all over it.
Oh, where they tacked all that stuff on it. Probably advertisement explosions.
Yeah, this
and
was
stuff.
before the computer revolution in the comics really happened. But these days, you get the artwork back and it's still pristine the way you send it off,
Well, I mean, and a lot of the times nowadays on that kind of stuff, it usually just send an email version of the artwork.
Yeah, just send a scan.
Yeah, and back in those days, I mean, I'm sure you've probably done a lot of, had to roll up your artwork or put it through the mail and
put it in a FedEx package, shoot it flat.
And the hope you got it back and it not be stomped on.
And
had to be nerve-wracking back in those days.
Yeah, and you didn't know if he's going to really
get it back. Right.
There's a lot of work that I never got back.
Oh, I can imagine. I just didn't see any kind of company really going out of their way to repackage something up nicely and care about if you got it back or not. They done paid for it. So
they're just worried about meeting that deadline.
That deadline.
That's all. Once they get that one done, they're on the next.
They're probably already 2 or 3 issues ahead on paper somewhere and stuff. Well, one thing that me and Rob got to do, it was about 2 weeks ago, we got to be at a gallery event earlier this month downtown at Dave and Polly's Art Emporium. And luckily the show was about horror artwork, which is our little niche that we do. So it wasn't all about fine art and bowls and pottery and stuff.
Yeah, but it's a good avenue. It's a great avenue. He's got a great shop.
Oh yeah, the location's great, and just the way him and Polly, they just got great style.
Yeah, the atmosphere there was just fantastic.
And that's one thing I noticed, and I started hearing other people, we was all over, I was mingling like crazy, is I overheard a lot of people talk about how this show was probably one of the best shows they've seen come out of there all year, because they talk about how the energy was and the artwork was something that they're not used to seeing. And with the superheroes that are all popular today, and this time of the year, all resurrecting all the Halloween and Jasons and Freddys, I've been telling Dave for years, we got to do a show like this. Well, I mean, we got you, me, Jeff Burke, Mark Hanna. I mean, we all live here. I mean, to have that different mixture of talent, from comics to statue to movies, and we're all kind of in the same genre, and we all kind of work
we
together.
don't get together more.
Exactly. I mean,
exchange ideas, do work. Especially Jeff Barr.
Oh,
he's a real interesting guy.
Amazing mind, and him and Mark both. I tell you, I owe a lot too, because the reason I ended up getting to know about Rob here was through Mark Hanna. And he told me, he said, you need to find this guy called Rob Brown. He's supposed to done work with Marvel and doing Spider-Man. But back in those days, it's so long ago, we couldn't just get on the internet and find everybody.
No.
You know, it wasn't like that back then. And the funny thing is, I was at Big Lots, and this is when Big Lots was still kind of rough around the edges, and I went down this aisle, and there's this tiki hut stuff. All these tiki cups and tiki statues, and I'm looking at it, and I thought, and I was like, Mark Hanna, and I was like, he's really into that stuff. And when here comes this big, crazy-looking guy down the aisle, and he's looking at it, smiling and huffing. And I said, well, what you laughing at? He said, well, I got a real good buddy of mine who just loves this stuff. And I said, yeah, I do too. His name's Mark. He said, well, that's hilarious. My buddy's name's Mark too. And I said, well, my friend's name's Mark Hanna. He goes, and he gives this crazy expression. It just blows his mind. He's like, well, my friend's Mark Hanna too. And we stood there for like 10 minutes just shooting the bull on how we knew Mark, but yet we had no clue about each other. And I said, I'm trying to make this comic book series. And I said, and he suggested I meet this guy called Rob Brown. And I said, I don't know how to get a hold of him. I'll probably never get to meet this guy. And then the biggest smile comes across this guy's face. And he reaches down in his pocket, and to tell you how old this was, flips his flip phone.
There you go.
Hits 2 buttons, and he goes, cheese is real big, and there's your name. He goes, he's marrying my sister in 2 weeks. And I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. And like I said, and that's how I ended up calling you and meeting you. And then like I said, Jeff came into it because Jeff was out of town a lot during that time. And I ended up meeting Jeff, and it's just, that's the coolest thing about, I never thought about coming to Dalton.
About Mark and Hunter.
Yeah, okay. Okay, there's these 2 brothers around here. They're probably the craziest duo known to man. These guys, you don't want to meet them in a back alley, but at the same time, they're probably the 2 nicest guys you'll ever meet, ever. And these guys they done that Greco-Roman grappling and UFC style fighting and everything. Well, I knew these guys from the gym and knew them at Dalton Utilities when we worked with them. But did you go to school with them?
I grew up with them.
You grew up with them and stuff. See, there is another connection with him. I guess it's just destined that we was going to run into each other sooner or later.
Eventually traveling the same circles.
In same circle, we're constantly running in each other. But that was the coolest thing that I found out about Dalton. When I moved here, I never thought I was going to be meeting pro wrestlers that come from this area, meeting movie directors from here, people that worked on Marvel comic books from here. And it's just like the amount of talent that has come out of this town is just crazy, don't you think?
It does get overlooked a lot.
And it don't even get talked about. And I go to like the big gallery downtown, and I tell them about you, and they're like, no, never heard of him. They're like, he's born and raised here. You should be dragging this guy in. Call marks if you don't want to get in. You should be begging him to come in.
People don't want to see comic books.
Yeah, but
they want to see these weird things they call sculpture.
They call sculpture. Right. I know what you mean. I mean, I come in with some toy designs before, and they're just like, here's what we call, and they show me what they call statues, and I'm like, yeah, technically that's a statue, but it's very unfinished. Well, it's almost like my rough draft.
Minimalism. I don't know what it is. One of the things that Joe Kubert's most famous for saying, he's the founder of the Joe Kubert School of Cartoon Art Design in New Jersey. Simplify. But to me, it's still got to look like something.
Well, like I met this one lady, and I'm not going to mention where or how, but anyway, she's working on a painting. I'm over here in the corner. We had like 4 or 5 people painting in this group setting and everything, and she's over there. You can tell she's just struggling and sweating, and just. I'm like, well, sweetheart, what's wrong? And she's like, I'm trying to make this work and I said, well, what are you doing? She goes, I don't know. I'm just kind of winging it as I go. I said, well, there's your problem. And I said, when I paint, hell, I done got it all figured out before I even pick up a paintbrush.
Yeah, you need a finished drawing to work with.
Exactly. And I said, never. I said at best, when you get done with this, you'll hope that somebody will walk up and say, "Oh, well, this means something to me," or this. It'll be something different for everybody. And a lot of galleries love that about certain pieces of art. Me, I can't stand that. To me, when I put my artwork in front of you, it's going to say the same thing to everybody because I'm trying to tell a story, not hoping someone can make up a story for it.
Right.
So.
Right. You should always start with a finished concept or finished rendering, especially if you're painting. The best painters do pencil renderings of the paintings before they paint them.
Oh yeah, and they take them all so much detail in those charcoal and pencil artwork.
Yep. Larry Elmore is very good.
Oh yeah, amazing guy that guy is. Yeah, I luckily got to meet him down at Dragon Con. It was the same year that I met Basil, and that was luckily.
Another fantastic.
Unfortunately, he passed away 9 months later. But I tell you, what an inspiration when I met him. And one thing, me and Rob, every once in a while we'll do it. We've done 2 pieces now where Rob does a pencil and I either done an ink on it, or Rob did a pencil and I came back and painted it. And it seems like when me and you do things together like that, people just kind of go nuts over it. I don't know what it is, but
I think both those pieces sold.
Yeah, they're both sold and gone, and we'll never see them again. But is this? But they said mine and your art really complement, which to me that compliments me because I love your art so much anyway. And like I said it's just
fun stuff to do.
Right, but like I said, I remember being down in your dungeon, just watching you bring these characters live with the vein of the werewolf and stuff, and the connection. And then one thing that I loved about your artwork is how you can obviously tell with looking at your artwork that you studied the stuff from the 40s, the old black and white movies and stuff. And I think that's what hurts. You look at the comic book shelf today, these guys ain't studying nothing. They're only looking at what's going on today.
I can't agree with that. I mean, some of these artists are just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, some of them are good, but some of them are, you can tell it's just, they're looking at more of the bikini girls than they are studying.
It's not the same stuff as that you saw in the comics in the 70s and stuff like that, but still, it's elevated. A lot of it's done in Photoshop.
Right.
It's just another tool, and they can do more
quicker. A lot of changes, color changes, and placements on certain things and stuff. But like I said, I guess I will always still be an old school fan.
I'm more fond of the old stuff than I am the new stuff, but that doesn't mean the new stuff's not good.
Good, exactly. No, I do agree with. There are a few, but it's like anything else. No matter whether you're an inker, oil painter, or whatever, there's different levels of talent and skills out there, and some people can really take Photoshop and just blow you away. Where someone like me, I stick with my Photoshop, just slapping logos and doing color temperature changes.
One of the things about Photoshop that Photoshop has done great for colorists is the colorists have really come into their own these days.
Right.
In the 70s, the old technology of producing comic books, colors got overlooked a lot.
Right.
Even though they were choosing the right color schemes, the right, color bouncing off of color and stuff like that.
But they was very limited palettes they could use, exactly.
Today, there's no limit on the palettes and the colors to really get noticed for that.
Well, and the dampness and the richness, the levels that they can. I mean, I remember holding I think Spawn Comics was one of the first comics that came out that really used Photoshop techniques to really accent like explosions and got the explosions. You can see the heat. You can feel the heat coming out of it, and that's one thing I do have to say on people like Todd McFarlane. They have took that and, like you said, used it as a tool and not something to rely on.
Yeah.
But Todd McFarlane, once again, he's a great artist though. That's where this foundation starts. And so that's the difference, I think.
Well, you got to know the basics.
Exactly. So.
Any artist needs to know the basics. Color theory. You got if you're going to be a colorist, you got to know color theory.
Yeah.
You got to know what colors bounce off. Ultimate contrast here and there.
And color's a tough one to study. Color. I mean, that's why I like black and white.
I still use a color wheel.
I have to. Yes.
Yeah, I have to. I can't figure it all out in my head.
Yeah, I know.
The color wheel is probably one of the most simplest tools, but yet so much power. It will keep you from being lost. So.
Wait a minute. You've seen those
I don't know if that's what it's
comics
called.
that have like a real red cover and then they'll have like a green logo on it. It's almost like that green just bounces off that.
Right.
It's almost like the green's moving.
Moving in it, right.
That's the color working
That's
on
it.
your eyes.
Exactly.
It's really. I mean, you need to know that.
Yeah, like I said, I keep one handy right there on my computer. So when I'm painting, I even have a printed copy. So when I'm painting, I stick it up. And I try to figure all that.
I got the old-fashioned wheel.
The wheel with the two cutouts. I don't have one of those.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I'd have to agree with you. I mean, anymore when I paint, I gotta have it. I rely on it first before I even touch the canvas. Try to figure all that out before I even pick up the paint. So
yeah, I generally decide whether the paint's going to be light or it's going to be cold before I start. That way I know the range of colors that I know I'm going to be dipping.
And I don't know about you, but I rather use a limited palette of like 4 or 5 colors versus having too many options.
Yeah, I mean, you get some of the most stunning results with simplify.
I agree with that.
But then there's something to be said also for oil painting. You know, one color bumping into another and creating a third.
Yeah,
I mean,
color.
there's something to be said for that too.
And it's weird how it does it differently every time.
Well, only most skilled painters master that.
Master that, exactly.
Plus, you got to purchase some stuff.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a show if you didn't purchase some.
Catherine Jeffrey Jones.
Oh, yeah, amazing.
Frazetta actually said that
I won't do
Jeffrey
that.
Jones was the
when
best.
Catherine was alive,
All right,
she was the best living painter in the world.
Yeah.
Frazetta said that.
Hey,
Yeah, I
you need
remember,
to find $40 worth of
Jones talking about when they mixed the darks for the edging of like a lot of the characters and stuff. How they used a lot of different colors into the dark. It wasn't black. They used a lot
Never
of.
used black.
So when the flesh color came and touched those outer lines, it would create that third color that you're talking about. And it just like magic would happen. And it's those faint colors that are in all of it, the reds and the greens that you just they're there. You may not see it with the naked eye all the time, but it is there. So and it makes
Translucent color is a
Exa-
real thing. You know, like
You look very familiar.
some of the classic painters like Gustav Klimt.
right.
Those guys
The glazing
little
techniques.
writing.
glaze
it
it
looks
to
like.
achieve
Man.
transparent color.
I,
You know,
just got
to
picked
see
up
a
by
blue
publisher.
through the translucence of skin.
Yeah.
You know, and which represents blood.
And the amount of time it takes. If you have to do that layer and leave it alone, because if it don't pack
reformatting
up,
them to fit.
you'll screw it
They're
up.
formatting of books.
Well, I hope everybody
for
enjoyed
example,
me and
this
Rob
is
sitting
6
here
by
just
9.
shooting the bull about art
all
and
the
stuff.
books,
I mean,
they
like I
tear
said,
down to
I never
5.5
miss a
by
chance when I
8.5.
get to hang out with this guy. It's always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure.
And like I said, it's just the one thing I will always take from that. Every time I get to hang out with you, it just feels like
You still at Ringo?
the knowledge
I
I
am.
can get from you
Still at
is just
Ringo
always
High
learn
School,
something. And
27
even off
years.
this conversation, I'll be going back and watching it and see if I can. Is there something else, some hidden treasure in there? And that's what I want to tell anybody. If you're here, always wanting to learn art or wanting to get into any kind of field like that, find someone who is good at it and hang out with them, get to know them, because it's the little things that help shape you as an artist. Would you agree?
I agree. But you need to have contact and exposure to
good art.
professional artists to learn
To
these
train the
techniques.
eye what
You
good
know,
art is.
I had a chance to go to college on a scholarship and didn't take it on an art scholarship. It took me 20 years to learn what they learned in 3 years.
3 years, exactly.
So it's not a waste to do it. It's
Not a waste of
to do
right.
it at all.
Well, you can get a lot of them fundamentals that are fundamental
That's
that you
right.
need to go ahead and get into and install you.
Yep. So my advice to anybody out there that is not thinking about going to art college and wants to be an artist, go to art college. You will only learn and benefit from it.
Exactly. Thank you, everybody.